How's it going? How was your bank holiday weekend?
Yeah, very good. Pretty quiet to be fair. But I've been, reasonably busy lately. So just been taking it easy the last week or so. So yeah,
Best
I've
way
got
to
to
do
be
it.
honest. I didn't get up to a whole lot. Ended up watching the Formula One and the Indy 500 on Sunday,
Ah, you
and
love a bit of racing
yeah,
then.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. So
excellent.
yeah, I did a bit of that and then spent a bit of time working on a track yesterday. And yeah, before you know it, well, that's it. It's
The
all done and
weekend's
dusted.
over. This is it.
Exactly.
So you're
Yeah.
working on new music, which is great. So
Yeah, yeah,
as I know, you're
yeah.
a musician and a singer from Birmingham, England. Um, you create original
Yeah,
80s inspired
you may
retro
have
pop,
guessed
rock, and
by you
synthwave.
may have guessed by the accent.
Yeah, love the accent, by the way. Yeah, absolutely.
It's so funny because I don't do many of these.
Okay.
And it's one of the reasons is I did an interview on some local radio station in Coventry a few years ago, and I listened back to it because obviously you can, and I
Oh.
just thought, oh God.
I do exactly the same.
So
I'm from Bristol, so it's not much better if it goes worse.
yeah,
So
there we go. Sorry,
you're
I interrupted you.
no, absolutely, that's fine. So you create original 80s inspired sort of retro pop, rock, and synthwave music. Um,
Yeah,
I've been a fan since I heard Miami Beach. We got into sort of contact. I think it was because I heard something on TikTok, and I've got like a little project which is more synthwave electronic music. And I thought, you know what, those two could come together. And we've got a little something on the go, but things got in the way. But we're back on track now, and I think we're gonna carry on with that.
yeah.
But
I think it'll be really cool. I'm really excited about that.
me too. I think
Really
that's gonna
enjoyed
be
working on that, you know.
yeah. So I've got plenty of time now as well. So that is that's
Awesome.
definitely in the works. I've not forgotten about it, and I really want to get on with it. So how did you get into the retro 80s style of music, and
Um,
sort of how did you shape your sound whilst you were doing it?
well, I mean, I mean, really, 80s music has always been my favorite music, from, when I was a kid, I guess. And, yeah, and I do enjoy all this stuff as well. I mean, I like, funk and soul and, a bit of 90s hip hop and that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. And, all sorts of music, really. But I've always, I guess, like the 80s sort of stuff the most. And when I started, that's really what I wanted to do. And I didn't really know how to, go about it. So, I started off just messing around with the keyboard and whatever, and picked up the guitar a bit, and, just basic chord strumming along, doing some writing. And I actually formed a band that sort of went for about 3 years, I think, and we did more, I guess, more like a sort of new romantic type early 80s stuff with a fretless bass
Okay.
player and that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously they're pretty rare, so that was pretty cool, electronic drums. Um, so that was really good. And but I guess from my own point of view, I didn't really know what I was doing still, so I was just messing around, trying to write stuff and just whacking loads of synth sounds and
It's
whatever
always
on
the
the
way.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's kind of how it started. And yeah, the band broke up. I had another sort of band and a half, which was probably more sort of funk based. With yeah, we did have some keyboards for a bit, and it didn't really go anywhere. So yeah, at that point, I just thought, I got a bit fed up with the whole being in a band thing, because whilst it's fun to play with people around you, it's also such hard work, and having to manage that as well. And I just got a bit fed up with it, so I thought, I'm just going to go and do some stuff by myself for a bit and see how it goes. And yeah, initially I just did all sorts of sort of random stuff, but I'm a massive Prince fan, so I did a lot of sort of, funk based stuff, and I guess I started moving back into the the um the 80s sound with that more and more. And yeah, I guess every so often you get to a point where you just get a bit sort of don't know what to do here, so let's try something else again. So I ended up writing some more guitar based stuff again, and I thought, you know what, actually, I'm really enjoying this, and I'm enjoying my writing more, and I thought, let's just go all out and try and sort of capture that sort of mid 80s sort of style and the production style, and I really sort of dug into as much information as I could
Yeah,
find, production wise and sound design and that kind of stuff. And then at the same time, really, the last few years really worked on my guitar playing to get that to a higher standard.
of course.
Um, yeah, and picked up the bass and stuff as well. So, again, sort of alternating between using a keyboard or an actual bass
I can
for that sort of
completely relate.
stuff. And
Yeah, I can completely relate with the you've got your own sort of sense of freedom with it. You can pick it up and put it down when you want. There's no sort of time restraints to, oh, you've got to get
yeah,
this part done, you know. So yeah, same with Fury Road. I mean, it's the same thing. I've got
exactly.
complete freedom. You can do what you want. Yeah,
And I think, I miss having a band around me when I play live, because when I do it with a backing track. So I've got a little tablet that I just sort of tuck away on the floor somewhere, and I've got a little Bluetooth pedal so I can control when the next like track kicks in.
well, that's
But it's
clever. I
just
never knew that
me.
existed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
neither had I, because I mean, when I started doing it, and it was a bit of sort of, it was a bit nerve-wracking initially, because I thought, okay, well, how do I do this? So just put some tracks on my phone and press play, give it to the sound guy and hope for the best.
there you go. Yeah,
And but that's really scary, because obviously once it starts, you can't stop it. Whereas at least now I've got a little bit more control. So that's quite good. And
absolutely.
yeah, and I still try and put on as fun a show as I can by myself, which people do seem to enjoy it. So I mean that's good.
And that's the
But
main
yeah,
thing, to be fair. That's why we
yeah,
do it.
well, exactly, and you feed off that yourself, and it's great. But yeah, in an ideal world, I would like to do more live stuff with others. But I guess the trouble is, because I write it, it's I've got to say I have no interest in writing with a band at this point, because it takes so long, and everybody
Yeah,
has their own ideas, which obviously that's why you're in a band. You have to work together. But at this point, I'm like, I'm really enjoying doing all that bit myself. But yeah, good luck trying to find people that, I mean, that
they
want to
share the
play
same
live with you and
sort of
say, right,
yeah.
play this, but I can't pay you, so
Yeah,
because that's
I get
kind
that
of the thing. But
completely. Yeah.
yeah,
So
so
when
I would do it for fun, just for from a sense of, let's have a few jams and yeah, cool. But this is, I guess, I see this kind of as my second job, and like you say, when you can manage your own time. So I can crank out loads of work. If I'm, you know, being really productive, I can get loads done. And then other times I want to take it easy. That's fine as well.
but that's the great thing about being able to work on your own, you know. I mean, it's great working with a band, of course, but when you've got your own sort of sense of direction and you know exactly what you want and you've got no time constraints, it's just freeing a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
this. I think I work better alone when it comes to, you know, writing and stuff like that. I think it's purely the gigging part that it's just like, it does feel a bit lonely, and I've done a couple of random gigs in the last couple of years of filling in on keyboards
right.
for a corpus band, which I don't, do as a rule. Um, Not for any reason, it's just, but
One of those
I got
things.
asked to, and I thought, yeah, I'll give it a go. And I thought I really enjoyed it because it was so nice to play with others. But yeah, it's just, between doing that and, I mean, I have a day job as well, and having to, try and manage all this like social media stuff, which I'm terrible at, by the way. But even then, it's
Me too.
it's
Don't
up
worry.
it takes up so much time, and yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I've got all the stuff to do as well,
Of course, you've got
So
a life to
yeah,
live. Yeah,
exactly.
it's one of those things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is it, mate.
that's
So
the thing of
yeah,
being a musician. You got life to live and a dream to follow. But so
yeah,
you're saying about when you
that's it.
write your
Yeah.
songs, when you write a song, where do you start, if you don't mind me asking? So,
No, I don't mind.
I mean, like, because the den's sort of about up and coming artists, and I think it's a
Mhm.
good idea to sort of share tips and ideas and all that sort of thing. So,
Okay.
as a as an example, when I say begin to write a song, I've got a really unorthodox way of doing it, and I've got to have a decent drum track to go against. Otherwise, I
Okay.
can't just sit there with a guitar or a keyboard and go. Um, and then I'll sort of layer it up that way. But yourself, how would you go about writing a song?
Well, usually I tend to kind of write it in my head before I start. So it kind of it depends a little bit because if I sit down and I've got no ideas and I just go, okay, let's go and have a look at something. I usually do the same thing. I'll go, well, do I want to do something, more up tempo or a bit more chill? So I'll put a little beat together and yeah, I just pick up something. Usually, if I start like that, I tend to pick up the bass, um, and then I'll just have a little play around. But I'd say, yeah, 8 out of 10 tracks probably that I write, I tend to sort of form the idea in my head before I do anything, and then it kind of depends on. Sometimes, you get a little melody come to you, and I'll just grab my guitar and just put voice note on my phone,
Yeah,
and then just and just sort of figure it out and go, okay, got to do something with this, and I'll make a little note of it to carry on with it. And yeah, sometimes I've got most of the rhythm parts I tend to write um in my head because you sort of got, okay, I've got this kind of idea, is I kind of know what I want from it, and then it's usually the other bits. I usually do the vocal melody quite late on because I tend to sort of form the bare bones of it with some basic keyboards, and I usually start with MIDI stuff. So I'll figure some bits out on the guitar, but I don't normally start recording it until a bit later on. Usually
oh,
start with
okay.
MIDI stuff, just because I don't have to track it because I can do it in MIDI because I've got some keyboards and stuff here. So I'll do something with live MIDI rather than audio. So it just means I can keep messing with stuff and shift it around and come up with, okay, yeah, that structure works and that kind of thing. And then yeah, I normally just keep playing it. And yeah, I do a lot of this sort of stuff when I'm cooking, weirdly.
Cooking.
Tend to just
That's
sort of,
very interesting.
I sort of stand there, cooking away and then trying to come up with something, and then I'm like, oh, you've got a little line, and just,
Let's turn the burner down. I need to quickly run
yeah,
upstairs and
yeah,
get the keyboard
yeah,
out.
yeah, no,
Ah,
just no, just hold my phone or something, or
yeah.
just to record it. So yeah, that's usually what it is, but it just depends. I mean, I've got a track I'm working on now, and weirdly, I wrote that on um, one of my keyboards has a like a sort of looper type thing. It's not like a full blown sequencer, but you can play some
Okay.
bits in, and I actually wrote all the drum and bass and keyboard parts, and then when I was just bored and I just started playing some chords, and I was like, oh, this is nice. And I came up with the rest afterwards. And then say, like you mentioned, Miami Beach earlier, that the first thing I did was come up with that little guitar riff, and I've just thought, okay, well, what chords go with that?
It's incredibly
Okay, yeah.
catchy. That was the thing. It hurt me as soon as I heard that intro. As soon as it comes in, it's there and it's hook. I've got it on a playlist, and I had it. Funny enough, not just because
Oh,
of
that's
this
that's
interview. It
awesome.
was I've got it on a synthwave playlist as well. So it came on in the gym today. I was like, oh yeah, this is so cool. Like
Ah,
interviewing
cool.
Hollywood Brown later. Like this is yeah. But yeah. So you've got a new track out, I believe. I think it came out on the 5th of March. I lost my heart on the dance floor. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, May actually, the start of the month, I think it was.
Was it? Oh, okay, fair enough. So how did
Yeah,
that
yeah,
track come about? Because when I hear it, even though I'm a 90s baby, I
yeah.
will admit I'm a 90s child. I'm
Sure.
transported to a club in Miami in 1984,
Well,
and you know
I
I'm I'm
think
I'm there. And where did that
well,
inspiration come from?
see, I've got because I'm a yeah, I guess a lot of us are that do this kind of music, but what I've always liked, even before like synthwave was a thing when I was a kid, I've always watched stuff like A-Team, Knight Rider, Airwolf, you
Exactly the
know
same.
that
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Obviously, you get the movies and that as well, the cartoons. I mean,
There it
obviously it's
is.
mirrored,
Yeah,
but yeah.
yeah.
So all that kind of stuff, and one thing that I never actually watched was Miami Vice because don't know for some reason it just wasn't available.
Right.
And a while ago it was available on Amazon Prime. It's not anymore, or at least not for free. But so I started watching a few of these episodes and thought, and I thought, yeah, there's some great tunes on here. There's some really random tunes as well. So I started building up this, like, I guess, playlist of inspiration. So I listened to loads of this sort of random mid-80s stuff. And obviously, so yeah, I guess I just came up with something. And what I had in mind really was the more the drums than anything that are sort of a bit Phil Collinsy. At least that's how I had it
Right.
in my
Yeah.
head.
I can
So they're
see that.
quite
Yeah.
sort of, they're quite pushy rather than, I mean, because I've done so much funk and stuff, I tend to, unless I sort of pull it back, I tend to do a lot of sort of,
So the drums
I'm sort of
yourself, you
lazy.
play the drums yourself then?
No, no, that's all
Oh,
programmed. I
oh,
mean,
they are
I do,
programmed, but you
yeah,
just
yeah.
oh, cool.
No, I haven't got the room for a drum kit.
Yeah,
I
I'm
did
the
have one a
same.
few years ago. Yeah,
I'd
it's
love an
just,
electronic one because of the MIDI function. It's just a MIDI controller, but
yeah,
again, it's the
but
room.
I know. I did buy one a few years ago. It's just a little cheap one,
Right.
I had ended up throwing the toms and that away because I had nowhere to keep them. But even then, I thought, okay, let's have a little go at this, and I was like, okay, yeah. But I was just so aware of how massively loud it was, and I just thought the neighbors are going to complain,
Yeah,
so I ended up just like putting it away.
this is it.
Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
sorry, I took you away from the
no, 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 that's
other
fine.
part.
So yeah, a lot of the time when I do drums and I guess any kind of rhythm part, I do a lot of that sort of kind of late snare thing that you get in a lot of like groovier stuff.
Yeah.
But with it, so I did it kind of the reverse, so it's quite pushy, and I kind of had that in my head, and I just I just picked up the guitar and I just started messing with this little riff here, and I thought, okay, hey, that's pretty cool. And yeah, and I thought, oh, okay, yeah, I've got this. Cool. So all I did was I just used one of these like sort of not very inspiring uh keyboard presets that's supposed to sound like a real bass guitar, but I use them sometimes while sort of putting stuff together, because otherwise I'll just end up having to play the whole bass track
Mhm.
again. So just put a little sort of simple thing together. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, so and yeah, so it started with the verse riff and obviously masses of gated reverb on the snare and
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. So yeah, what I tend to do is I'll play sort of the main riff and it's like okay, yeah, fine. And so I came up with the chords for the chorus and I thought, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Okay, so I'll layer some basic keyboards just so I can map out the structure in I use Cubase, but all the doors are available. So I'll just sort of structure it like that, and then I go, okay, yeah, that works. Verse, chorus, blah blah blah, and yeah, and I just started layering guitars, and I think this is a thing that's fairly new to me. in the last sort of year or so that I've started doing way more like layering guitar parts and playing like little counter melodies and playing the same
Okay.
chords but with different shapes and
All
then
the little
hard
sort of
panning
bits
them.
that are there, but you wouldn't know as a listener that they were there, but you'd know if they were
Yeah, that's
missing, wouldn't
right.
you? Like,
That
yeah.
that's it. So I mean, yeah, you probably won't be able to hear it very well, but like, oops, if I this probably won't come across well. You'll have to tell me if it doesn't. But I ended up sort of playing this part when it's sort of what am I doing here? Yeah, so yeah, what I'm playing is sort of a sort of dual in it. So on the one hand, I'll have like sort of I'll sort of put like a low. Does this come across at all? Is it?
It wasn't picking up, no.
No, that's fine. But yeah, so I'll sort of play a sort of for anybody that that watches and plays guitar. I'll play just a sort of bunch of basic power chords or here, but I'll do another sort of similar bit with like I'll just play, the high strings and I'll
Okay.
hard pan them and I'll do it in
Yeah.
I guess the same rhythm, but I'll do one that's like really choppy and one that's a bit sort of looser,
Right,
and
right.
I'll use some different settings. I don't use an amp anymore these days. Um,
No, me neither, funnily enough. When you've got all the technology there at your
ah,
hands, it's just,
yeah,
you know, which
it,
is
it's
sad,
just
but
it's
at the same time handy.
yeah. Well, the
You
thing is,
know?
I can do so much more because I do a lot of stuff in stereo as well now with guitar.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So, again, to try and get that sort of 80 sound. So, to replicate that, those fridge size racks full
Yeah.
of effects. I mean, yeah, forget about it, So I do have a pedal board as well with, actual pedals, but I'll use it, a little, amp simulator type thing live. And then in the studio, I've got some amp modeling software, and you can run it in stereo. And sometimes I'll use a pedal on the way in, and it's easy to just layer a bunch of effects. But the secret weapon is actually, whoops,
It's
this.
Rockman Guitar Ace by Tom.
Yeah. So this is a sort of slightly modernized version of the headphone amp that was used by um, well, yeah, lots of artists, but Def Leppard amongst others on the Hysteria album. Um,
Ah,
and and when you get that really sort of boxy, sort of really 80s sounding guitar,
yeah.
that's what it is, like Highway to the Danger Zone from Top Gun.
Wow,
You hear it
really?
straight. And was it? Yeah, I mean, I have to do a little bit of messing with it because it's not 100% identical, and
Yeah.
you'll get purists now going like, ah, no, this one's
That sounds nothing like
terrible.
it, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it does get you pretty close. So
If it does the job, it does the
that's
job. I
pretty
mean, and if
cool.
that's your sound,
Yeah,
I mean, if you're gonna go for what you're doing and that's your sound, I mean, that's your
yeah,
sound. They
yeah.
can't say no, that's not you, can they?
Exactly.
Like,
So, I'll put like, a heavier sound on the one end and a, more crunchy but not as heavy on the one.
on
Or
the
maybe a
yeah.
couple of layers of clean, and I'll use like the Strat for some like single note picking, and whatever. So, yeah, and it's kind of so just trying to blend it in and hope that it sounds okay.
Yeah.
And
That's
yeah,
what
that's
we all
what.
do though, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So,
Yeah.
it's just, yeah, slap loads of chorus on everything and
And
you're
then
halfway there.
there we go. Why not? So you mentioned you've got some new stuff in the works. I've just been informed we've
Yeah.
got about 8 minutes left, so
Okay,
I don't want us
cool.
to cut off. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
new music. You've got some new stuff in the works.
Yeah, I got a track that I'm working called Heartbreaker, which is this is actually I guess the first one of, this sound that I guess started releasing last year. But I actually
Okay.
wrote this a good couple of years ago, and I've just kind of been sitting on it. So it's a little bit more. It's not as fast and like as some of the other ones. It's a little bit more mellow, but it's still fairly up tempo, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, it's the
Excellent.
same kind of thing. Lots of that kind of
Am I
sound.
gonna feel like I'm gonna be in
So
a club in Miami again, that sort of
I
thing,
hope
or?
so. That's always kind of the thing I'm going
Yeah,
for, you
you've
know.
struck gold on everyone I've listened to, and honestly, I'm not
Ah,
just
that's
saying it
great.
because I've got you on. I am
I
a fan. I
appreciate
really
it,
love your
man. I
music, man. Honestly.
really appreciate it. No, I mean, this is really, I guess why I find like I've kind of found like a bit of a niche with this stuff because,
Mm,
like I said, I've done some different stuff and sort of similar stuff, and you get the odd comment and you go, ah, okay, yeah, cool. And this is the first time I've really had people go, whoa, that's really cool, and it gives you
mm.
such a boost, and it makes you just want to, keep doing it
Keep doing
because
exactly that.
that
Exactly that.
it's these kind of conversations and comments that are just so cool.
As
So
I say, like Miami Beach was the one that drew me in, and that's why we're here
yeah,
now, and that's why I want to do a collaboration. And
yeah, no,
honestly,
that's
I'm we're
great.
we're still working on it. I'm gonna crack on with that in the next few days, to be honest. So we'll pick
Yeah,
up from where we left off.
I sent you some stuff for that.
You did, yeah. I need
Yeah,
to get
yeah,
that
yeah,
onto the I need to get it on the Mac and start
yeah.
plugging away at that. Things got in the way. I was in a previous band
Hmm.
at the time, and which is no more. Like within the last few weeks, it's sort of disbanded or whatever. But it's given
Oh,
me
that's a shame.
more time to. It is. It's a
Mm.
sort of a bittersweet thing. It is sad. I did enjoy it, but at the same time, it now frees me up to do this sort of thing.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
carry on with the
absolutely.
Fury Road thing, which here we are. I'm opened up, and I'll be collaborating with Hollywood Brown soon, I hope. So
Yeah, absolutely,
6 minutes left. I think we can end it there, to be fair. That was a really good discussion. I enjoyed myself. Is there
Oh,
anything that you
good.
want
Me
to
too.
plug, or is there any gigs you got coming up or anything?
Oh, I have got a couple coming up. We're going to be looking at a couple in July and a couple in August. But yeah, I'll be posting details on Instagram and whatever in probably the next couple of weeks.
Excellent.
Um, so yeah, there's that. Obviously, you can find me on Spotify and HollywoodBrown80s.com. You can also buy a t-shirt. I would have shown it you, but I wore it yesterday and I put
That's
it in the
fine.
wash.
I'm gonna have to get myself one of those. Well, if this worked well, because this was the first time I've tried Zoom to record and everything, so I'm hoping it's worked
Mhm.
both ends and it's not just me looking like I'm talking to myself, but it'll be on the MMRadio live YouTube page in conjunction with Matthew Janitis. I'm going to try and get on that this evening actually and pop that up. So if
Awesome.
all's gone
Well, looking
well,
forward to seeing it back.
great.
I
Yeah,
cringe at the sound of my own voice.
no, mate, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It went really well,
Nah,
actually.
so have I. So have
Yeah,
I. There's nothing I enjoy more than nattering about music, or motor racing, but
of
either
course.
either.
And if anything, it's brought us closer
So,
musically and further towards our collaboration. So again, Hollywood
yeah,
Brown, thank you
absolutely.
very much for being on the den, and
Thanks for having me, man.
stay in contact. I'll speak to you soon.
Absolutely. Right,
Thank
nice
you,
one,
mate.
mate.
Take care.
Okay, take it easy,
Bye.
man. Bye.